So 106.3, who's this?
Hi, this is Lisa Jones.
Hey, Miss Jones. You are an educator?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been in that glorious field?
I have been a professional teacher for 7 years, a licensed professional teacher for 7 years, and I was substitute teaching since 2002 to about 2006.
Okay.
So about 5 years before I became a professional teacher.
So let me ask you this. What do you think that parents probably miss or are not paying attention to when it comes to teachers, as well as the administration? Walk us through sort of what it's really like to be a teacher in an urban city like Chicago.
Well, I think the number one issue is that we serve the city that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever problems that the city is having, the classroom is a microcosm of those issues as well.
Okay.
So if you have an area or a city with a high crime rate, well, these are the same kids that are in those households. These are those same children or students or scholars that are the children of the parents who are committing the crime or who are living in poverty or homelessness even. And so at a school I was at 2 years ago, they were concerned about rape. So we had children who were traumatized by their parents being taken away or even coming home to an empty house.
Wow.
And so whatever's going on in the city is also going on in the classroom. And then we haven't even talked about the drug epidemic. So I'm teaching the children that are not the children of the drug parents, but the grandchildren. So their parents are born maybe addicted to drugs. And then their issues are filtering in. I have a student that comes to school every day smelling like marijuana, and it's strong.
And this is a grade school student?
This is a grade school.
Wow.
Intermediate. So you have children who are born to parents who are bipolar and who are on medications, and they're mixing medications with drugs and alcohol and homelessness, and they're coming to school and they want us, and I mean administration, the city of Chicago, and they want us to teach with 28, 40 children in one time, and you have a classroom full of children who have gone through traumatic experience.
Who, of course,
a couple of years ago.
Who, of course, they may not be paying attention. They can't sit still, so you have a lot of other distractions as well. And I can see how that can be very difficult to do.
It is. And then you have students. I have a student a little bit less than 2 years ago. She had witnessed her brother, her father, and her sister killed in the middle of the street.
Wow.
2 separate incidences. And now you want me to come in and teach her. She's not thinking about school.
Yeah.
She's thinking about how to live, how to survive without her siblings and her father, who she saw get gunned down on the far west side, who had to escape gun violence and gang violence, travel 20 miles to try to escape all that. It's a lot. And we're not even talking about the political aspect. We're not talking about test scores. And we're not talking about other things that are happening. We have our own families. And then I neglect my children every single day.
You neglect your own children every single day?
I neglect my own children.
Why? How?
And when I get home, I have a couple of hours to still do work. So if I get out of school at, say, 3:45, I have to grade papers, plan for the next day, and prepare for the next day or the next couple of days. When I get home, my son still has homework. He still has things that he needs. I haven't even cooked dinner. I haven't even started dinner. And not to mention, other family obligations. If you have a sick mother or parents or grandparents that you live with or have to take care of.
And not to mention not to mention the stamina you need to deal with 30 or 40 kids in your class, then come home and deal with your own children.
You mean 42?
42,
45.
I'm sorry. Oh, 45. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Ms. Jones. So knowing that education is the one thing that can help change the dynamic in families and even communities, not just the students. We're talking about the criminal activity and aspect in the community and the poverty rate. Why? And I've asked myself this over and over again. If we are living in a city that is always going to be in debt, we're spending money on everything, why not make and spend the best money possible? I don't mind being in debt for the Chicago public school system, especially if it means we're going to get these students educated and those students can possibly become productive individuals in their communities and come back and help the city grow. Why does it does the administration even look at it like that? Because I just feel like, why not give the teachers every single aspect they need? Smaller classrooms, of course, more money. Also, the support staff that you need, the counseling, the teachers' assistants, because if the education system, like you say, is basically a mirror of the community and what's going on in the city, then we can help fight a lot of the problems in the city by starting in the schools. Am I wrong in thinking that?
You are absolutely correct, but you have to ask also, why isn't the money spent there? When I was coming up in the 80s and the 90s, I remember 30% of the money was supposed to go to education. And it's not the administration's fault, because I love my principal.
Okay.
I love the assistant principal. I love all our past administration. It's not them. They are just simply, and I hate to say it like that, but they're puppets. And they have to regurgitate what the networks, who are smaller versions of the city pretty much, they have to regurgitate the information, and they have to try to balance a budget that is completely unbalanced. And it's unfair to them because they have to make cutbacks, and they have to make decisions that not only affect the classroom, but that affect the community. So it's not really just administration, it's the higher up. You know, they, for some reason, feel like, I mean, it's a union thing as well. You know, they want to bust up unions because they feel like they have too much power. But really, the unions are just protecting people who work and service the city of Chicago or whatever union that may be, so that they can execute the best education system that we can do. And we can only work with what we have. I get paid less than $60,000 a year, and I spend, you know, take home is really, you know, less than that.
Right.
But I spend close to $200 a month, every month.
On your students?
On my students, on making sure they have certain things, tissue, tampons. I mean,
wow.
maxi pads, yeah.
And it's sad that you have to say that, because then again, you know, there's another issue, what's happening in people's homes. You know, and
what's happening in people's homes, yeah.
You know what, Ms. Jones, thank you so much. You have definitely shined some light on this perspective, shined some light on the subject and given me a different perspective. And I appreciate you just opening it up. Thank you so much, Ms. Jones.
Thank you so much. All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.